शुक्लांबरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। योगेन चित्तस्य पदेन वाचां मलं शरीरस्य च वैद्यकेन योपाकरोत्तं प्रवरं मुनीनां पतञ्जलिं प्राञ्जलिरानतोऽस्मि। Om. Dear friends, welcome to the study of Yoga Sutras. I'll increase my volume. In the last class, we were seeing the sutra number 1-32. That is, Tat Pratishedhartham Ekatatvabhyasaha. Tat Pratishedhartham Ekatatvabhyasaha. In order to avoid the obstacles, in order to stop the obstacles, one should try to focus on one particular aspect, one particular point. Ekatattva abhyasaha. You have to focus on one point in this. You have to practice that one. So on that, we saw the commentary, and in the commentary we are somewhere in the middle. And in that we were seeing that Vyasa is countering the Buddhist arguments, Buddhist philosophy. We were incidentally discussing that Buddhism at that time, when Buddha started, he didn't want to start a new religion or anything like that. It was only a new philosophical thought or a particular sort of correction, as Radhakrishnan says. It was a sort of correction within Hinduism. And at that time, there was excess of this ritualism. So Buddha wanted to stop that excess of ritualism. Even Shankaracharya, if we see his commentaries on the Gita and also on the Brahma Sutras and the other Upanishad Bhashyam, we see emphasis almost on the same lines. So, in fact, that is one reason why Shankaracharya is dubbed as Prachanna Bauddha. So, he is dubbed as Prachanna Bauddha by the dualists. This is okay. But then, we have to see that what Buddha taught was not a new religion. It was a school of philosophy. It was basically certain ideas about the nature of mind. Basically, here in Yoga Sutras, we are talking about the nature of mind. And again, in Buddha also, we see the nature of mind only. And all the disagreement is only regarding the nature of the mind. What exactly is mind, and is it what Buddha says is, of course, we do not know what Buddha said, because Buddha he lived a long life, 80 plus. And then he taught in different places. So in fact, Buddhism was in different schools. Where I was mentioning that you also know that there are 4 schools of main schools of Buddhism. And in these schools, each school has a different approach. So here we are countering what is called Kshanika Vijnanavadi. So the Kshanikavadi, probably they were very dominant at that particular time. So that is the reason why Vyasa chose to counter them. So because according to them, this Samadhi cannot happen in Patanjali's Yoga Sutra. So Patanjali wants to say that in your philosophy, Samadhi is always there, because your mind is Kshanikam. Your mind at any point of time, it is focused on a particular object. And again, that cognition also is Kshanikam. Cognition also is a Kshanikam. The mind also is Kshanikam. And in the next mind, in the next Kshanam, in the next minute, in the next moment, let us say, in the next moment, the mind also is different. And also the cognition, of course, is also different. Even if I am saying the same pen, even if I am saying object need not change. It is not as though the object changes every time. The object need not change. The same pen or the same lamp or the same object which is in front of me, I am seeing. But the cognition is different because the mind is different. So that is what we were discussing. And I will share the screen. He refuted a couple of arguments of the Buddhists. Vyasa, we have to see that Vyasa predates Shankara. Shankaracharya is he was in the early 8th century Common Era. And Vyasa is dated to be some 4th or 5th century Common Era. So Vyasa predates. So why we have to keep this in mind is that I was also referring to certain sociological aspects in the last class, that people they accuse that Shankaracharya and Ramanuja, they went about, they mobilized people and then killed Buddhists and whatnot. And even a man like Ambedkar did not agree with that, because even a man, when I'm using that word, even a man, because he may be having some grudge against Hinduism, but he does not unnecessarily blame Hindu leaders. So where the censure is needed, he censures them. where the censure is not needed according to them. He doesn't do that. Very honestly, he says. So anyway, I'll just share the text now. Yes, we were somewhere. Buddhist, if he says that one-pointedness, yeah. Atha pravahamshasyaiva pratyayasya dharmaha sa sarvaha sadrusha pratyayavahiva. All this line we read, we need not read again. So he made a tentative conclusion, an intermediate conclusion. Tasmad ekam anekartham avasthitam chittam iti. Ekam, one, anekartham, the objects may be many. And avasthitam, even if the objects are many, in the morning I have seen something, afternoon I have seen something, and in the evening I have seen something, but I do remember all those things. So there should be a continuing mind. That is our argument. Avasthitam chittam iti. So the mind is one, capable of several cognitions, and one after another or in whatever manner, and it is an enduring or a continuing entity, not a dying entity. Now he is going to give another reason to show that the mind is not momentary. Yadicha chittena ekena ananvitaha swabhava bhinnaha pratyayaha jayeram. Yadicha chittena ekena ananvitaha swabhava bhinnaha pratyayaha jayeram. Atha katham anyaya pratyaya drushtasya anyaha smarta bhavet. The meaning is, one mind has seen something, and in the next minute the mind has changed, but it is also recalling what was seen earlier. So that is what he is asking. How can it happen when the mind changes? One mind has seen and another mind is recalling. How can that happen? So this is another point. Yadi chittena ekena ananvitaha. Ananvitaha means anvitam is associated. Anvita. Ananvitam is not associated. Ananvitaha. Swabhava bhinnaha, they are also different in nature. Suppose something I have seen something now, and after some time I will see something else. So swabhava bhinnaha. So all these cognitions, they are different in nature. Sometimes I may eat some fruit, I may take some coffee, and then these are swabhava bhinnaha. So it is ekena chittena ananvitaha. They are not ananvita. They are not associated with one particular mind, connected with one particular mind. And by nature they are different. If the such pratyaya jayeram means when such pratyayas, when such cognitions or experiences they arise, then atha katham, then how anyaya pratyaya drushtasya, anyaha smarta bhavet, anya pratyaya drushtasya. So a pratyaya, a cognition which is known by another mind, is remembered or recalled by another mind. Anyaha smarta bhavet. Drushtasya anyaha smarta bhavet. How can another person be the smarta? Means the person who recalls. How can he be the person who recalls what was seen by some other mind? So the translation is the next page. If the arising cognitions are not associated with a single mind, and if they are all different in nature, in such case, how can one recollect something which was seen by another person? Or I can as well say another mind. Not person, I should say mind. How can one mind recollect something which was seen by another mind? Then anya pratyaya upajitasya karmashayasya anya pratyayaha upabhokta bhavet. Another point he raises, when I do something, I have got a particular mind with one particular mind. Okay, suppose I slap somebody, I beat somebody, I have done something. Then in the next minute, the mind also has changed. But then that is going to get the karma ashaya. Karma ashaya means karma phalam. As long as the person is alive, every second the minute is changing, the mind is changing. And we have performed so many actions, good and bad. And for all these things, we do get result. And this phalam again, it is obtained. Some are obtained in this life and some are supposed to be there in the afterlife. So if that is so, whatever has been done and whatever has to go to that particular mind, it is going to some other mind. It has to, sin or punyam has to accrue to one mind, but it is going to another mind. How can that be justice? So that is what he says. Anya pratyaya upachitasya. Upachita means acquired. Upachaya means acquiring, collecting. Upachaya. Diha. In fact, the word deha comes from the same root, deha upachaye. Upachayam is always collecting and collecting and collecting. From morning till evening, we keep on eating. And again on the next day, again on the next day, all through our life, we keep on adding things into the stomach. So that is what is called upachaya. Then anya pratyaya upachitasya karmashayasya anya pratyaya upabhokta bhavet. Anya pratyaya, whatever cognitive fruit of karma, upachitasya karmashaya. Karmashaya means, let us say, fruit of karma. Karmashayasya, the fruit of karma gained by one cognition or pratyaya, the mind. Another cognition or another mind would be the experiencer, that is one who is reaping the fruit of that karma. So that will be a strange case, a very strange case of injustice. Kathamchit samadhiyamanamapi. Kathamchit samadhiyamanamapi. In whatever manner we may try to justify. Samadhiyamanam. Samadhiyamanam means being justified. It is however much you are trying to justify it. In whatever manner it is being justified, it may be justified. It is being justified. I mean, you are trying to justify it. Then etad gomaya payasiyanyayam akshipati. Gomaya payasiyanyayam. So there is a one Samskrita Nyaya. We know that in Sanskrit there are so many Nyayas. For example, Anda Parampara Nyaya, Anda Gola Nyaya. So similarly, something, Gattaka, Gati Chakra Nyaya. So many Nyayas are like that. Similarly, Tushyatu Durjana Nyaya, one beautiful Nyaya. So like that, there are so many Nyayas in Samskrita literature. Of course, in all literatures. What we call Samyata, we say. We use the word samyata, a similarity. In Telugu, we call it samyata. That word, Sanskrit word samyata, has become samyata. So what is that? Samyata, there is a similarity. He is showing one, whatever argument you are making, that argument is somewhat like this. And in fact, it is more ridiculous than that, he is saying. Atamchit samadhiyamanamapi, in whatever manner you may be trying to justify. Etad means this argument, this particular argument. Gomaya payasiyanyayam akshipati. Akshipati means it excels. That is, it goes beyond. It is more ridiculous than that. What is this Gomaya payasiyam? We know what is Gomayam. There are different. Gomayam means something which is a derivative of go. Go is a cow, let us say. Again, go also means bull, but here let us say cow. Then cow gives milk. And from milk we make ghee, we make curd, we make ghee, and we make so many things. So usually, and gomaya also means the cow dung. So whatever, suppose somebody says all gomaya is payasa, let us say. So now somebody gets cow dung. Also, okay, this is also payasa, you take it. So it is a sort of false logic. It is usually called a logical fallacy. Gomaya payasi and nyaya is a sort of logical fallacy. Whatever is derivative of cow is equivalent to milk. So Gomaya payasya, this cow dung also is milk, you take it. So something like that. Gomaya payasya nyayam akshipati. In fact, this particular line also, I don't know, this is, he has used this expression that nyaya is not so brilliantly sticking here. That's what I find. Maybe we have not understood it properly. Etad Gomaya payasya nyayam akshipati. Gomaya payasya nyayam. It is explained here also in this commentary in a detailed manner. But even then, there is nothing much. Payasam gomayam gavyatvat. The logic given is payasam gomayam gavyatvat. Payasam is called gomayam. Payaha is milk. Payasam means anything made of milk. Payasam does not mean milk. Payasam is anything made of milk is payasam. Payaha is milk. Payasam gomayam. Then gavyatvat, because it has come from cow. Yad gomayam tattad gavyam. Whatever is gomayam, that is gavyam. Then payasamapi gavyam. Then ataha payasamapi gomayam. Payasam also is gomayam. So payasam is equal to cow dung. So that is what is the logic. So anyway, what he says is, this is something which is a ridiculous argument. What Buddhists say is a ridiculous argument. That is the sum and substance of it. Kincha swatmanubhava apahnavah chittasya anyatve prapnoti. Chittasya anyatve, if the mind happens to be different, if the mind happens to change every moment for every cognition, then swatma anubhava apahnavah, you are negating your own experience. Swatma anubhavasya. Swatma anubhava means whatever you have experienced. tasya apahnavah means you are negating it. Apahnavah chittasya anyatve prapnoti. A person, he will be in that particular state where he is negating his own personal experience because he is having an idea. He is having that continuous notion of I. That notion is there in a continuous manner. So you are negating that. Swatmanubhava apahnavah. If the minds are several, changing for several cognitions, it would negate one's own experience. There would be nothing like I have experienced this. Kincha anyatve prapnoti. That is the same thing he is explaining in the next line. Katham, how is that? Yad aham adraksham tat sprushami. Yat aham adraksham tat sprushami. Whatever adraksham I saw, tat sprushami. I am touching it. Yacha spraksham, whatever it touched, tat pashyami. That is I am looking at it. Iti pratyayah sarvasya pratyayasya bhede sati. Sarvasya pratyayasya bhede sati. If every pratyaya every cognition is totally different, bhede sati, pratyayini abhedena upasthitaha. Pratyayi is the person who is seeing. Pratyayi, one who is having pratyaya is pratyayi, something like guni, guninaha. Gunini, something like gunini, pratyayini, saptami vibhakti. Pratyayini abhedena upasthitaha. I could not break it because today this Sanskrit, I don't know why that website did not open. There is one website called the Sanskrit. That website you also kindly, Srinivas, you can also test it. I don't know why it did not open. Because if it opens, if I type in iTrans, Sanskrit letters come. So I wanted to split it, but I couldn't do it today. Yadaham adraksham tat sprushami. Whatever I saw, I am looking at it, I am seeing it, and I am touching it. Yadaham aspraksham. Whatever I touched, that I am touching it. Iti ahamiti pratyayah. So this I, that notion of I is there. Sarvasya pratyayasya bhede sati. Even when the cognitions are different, pratyayini, in the person who is knowing, abhedena upasthitaha. Abhedena, that notion of I is present, unchanged, in an unchanged manner. That notion of I is present. So here I have translated, there exists a continuing notion of I in statements like, what I have seen, I touch. What I touched, I see. Such notion persists, unchanged, common. You see, sarvasya pratyayasya abhede sati, pratyayini abhedena. Abhedena means unchanging. That notion is unchanging, even when there are different cognitions. Again, almost the same thing. Eka pratyaya vishayah ayam abhedatma ahamiti pratyayah. Eka pratyaya vishayah ayam abhedatma ahamiti pratyayah. Eka pratyaya vishayah means a single experience. Eka pratyaya vishayah ayam abhedatma ahamiti pratyayah. Abhedatma is something which is unchanging in nature. Abhedatma, unchanging in nature. That is, atma does not mean soul here. Abhedatma means which is of the nature of, which is unchanging in nature. Abhedatma ahamiti pratyayah. Katham atyanta bhinneshu jitteshu vartamanaha. And that is existing in so many minds. So aham pratyaya, according to Buddha, it exists in one mind. In the next minute, it has to exist in some other mind. In the next minute, it has to exist in some other mind. So it exists in different minds. If this aham pratyaya is existing in different minds, how can that notion be there always with me? So that is what he is asking. Eka pratyaya vishayah ayam abhedatma ahamiti pratyayah. That is this unchanging notion of I. Katham atyanta bhinneshu chitteshu vartamanaha. If you suppose, if you think that they are existing in different minds, that notion samanyam ekam. Samanyam is something which is continuing in all. Samanya, something which is common. Samanyam ekam pratyayinam ashrayet. Ekam pratyayinam ashrayet. Pratyayinam here is dvitiya vibhakti. Ekam pratyayinam katham ashrayet. How can it exist in one mind? How can it exist in one mind? So how can this single common notion, which is of the nature of unchanging I, persist in one knower? If it exists in totally different minds, I suppose you followed it. That notion of I, according to Buddha, it has to exist in one moment, in one mind, another moment in another mind, another moment in another mind. But we are experiencing that notion of I is there right from my childhood till now, continuously in a continuous manner. So if the minds are different, how can that notion be there? So it cannot be Kshanika. It has to be a continuing, enduring entity. The mind is a continuing, enduring entity, is the argument of both this Patanjali and also of Upanishads. Swa anubhava grahyah grahyasya ayam abhedatma ahamiti pratyayah. Swa anubhava grahyah. Something which is known by one's own experience. Swa anubhavena grahyah. Anubhavena prapyah. So something which can be known by one's own experience. I am abhedatma ahamiti pratyaya. This abheda, this I pratyaya, the notion of I, which is totally unchanging in nature, abhedatma. Then this notion of I, which is unchanging in nature, is known by personal experience. And now he says, whatever is known by pratyaksha, it cannot be denied by anything else, because pratyaksha is the king of all pramanas. We know that pramana. What is pramana? Pramana is any valid means of cognition. And pratyaksha is the greatest means. So, nacha pratyakshasya mahatmyam pramanantarena abhibhuyate. Pratyakshasya mahatmyam, greatness. So, he uses the word greatness, mahatmyam. It's mahatmyam. Pramanantarena, by some other pramana. Na abhibhuyate. This nacha pratyakshasya mahatmyam pramanantarena abhibhuyate. Na abhibhuyate means it cannot be subordinated, it cannot be defeated. Abhibhava, we know that word abhibhava. Abhibhava means surpassing, excelling. Abhibhuyate means it is surpassed or excelled or defeated. Here, na abhibhuyate means it is not defeated. It is not something which is subordinated by any other. It is not defeated by any other pramana. Then pramanantarancha pratyaksha balenaiva vyavaharam labhate. Pramanantaramcha, and also we have to note pramanantaramcha, and also Pramanantaram, any other pramana, pratyaksha balena eva vyavaharam labhate. On the strength of pratyaksha only. If I am seeing fire, if I am inferring fire on, say, some hill or some nearby place, I am seeing some smoke. That is pratyaksha. And on the strength of that pratyaksha balam, on the strength of that pratyaksha, I am inferring something else. So, pramanantarancha pratyaksha balena eva vyavaharam labhate. So when even in Upamana, in anything, in any other pramana also, pratyaksha is there. Pratyaksha is the basis. On seeing something, you are inferring something. It is like that. Pratyaksha balenaiva vyavaharam labhate. Any other pramana gains acceptance only on the strength of pratyaksha. Tasmad ekam anekartham avasthitancha chittam. Tasmad, therefore, ekam, one, anekartham, it can cognize different objects. Avasthitam, it is something which is enduring in nature, continuing in nature. Avasthitancha chittam, the mind is like that. So basically, the discussion is on mind sciences. So if you call it a religion, what is a religion? Religion is basically a belief system, isn't it? Religion is a big belief system. So God is like this, heaven is like this, hell is like this. We are not discussing it. Basically, this is about the mind. What modern psychology calls, or nowadays people call mind sciences. If you see what is called mind sciences, so all our philosophy is mostly relating to mind sciences. So that is what we see. Then we go to the next sutra. Yasya chittasya avasthitasya idam shastrena parikarma nirdishyate tat katham. Yasya chittasya avasthitasya. So now, of course, he has already established that there is chittam avasthitam. The word avasthitam, he is continuing with that word. Tasmad ekam anekartham avasthitam. Avasthitam is that is enduring. So, yasya chittasya avasthitasya. So, now that we have established that the chittam is there. So, for that chittam, shastrena parikarma nirdishyate tat katham. Shastra is prescribing some sort of parikarma. Parikarma means some sort of preparatory exercise. Parikarma is some preparatory exercise. Shastrena parikarma nirdishyate. It is prescribed. Tat katham. Of what nature is it? Of what type is that preparation you accept? Preparatory action. prescribed by the Shastra for the mind to become steady. Then now he gives a formula. This is a beautiful line. Maitri Karuna Muditopekshanam Sukha Dukha Punya Punya Vishayanam Bhavanatah Chitta Prasadanam. Maitri Karuna Mudita Upekshanam is a long samasa. Similarly, Sukha Dukha Punya Apunya Vishayanam Bhavanatah Chitta Prasadanam. So if you break it like this, yeah, I could not break as I said Bhavanataha because there was that Sanskrit was not working. So the meanings are like this. Maitri, we know the word Maitri. Maitri means friendliness. Karuna, Karuna is compassion. Mudita, Mudita means happiness. Maitri is something different and Mudita is different. Maitri is okay, have a friendly attitude. Then Mudita, happiness. Just if somebody is happy, we are also happy, like that. So then Upeksha, Mudita, Upekshanam. Upeksha means indifference. You are just indifferent, you are not bothered about it. Then this is the attitude which one has to adopt to people who are in this, but the next samasa says, next samasa tells about the people who are in those situations. A person who is having a lot of sukha, a person, suppose he is enjoying wealth, he has got some lottery or something, or he may be a rich man, whatever, and he is enjoying a lot of wealth. Somebody like some Gates or Elon Musk or somebody, sukha, is having so much of sukham. So if somebody is having a sukham, of course, no, we don't usually envy somebody like Bill Gates or Elon Musk. We only envy our own neighbors. We envy our own relatives, our own neighbors. Envy, jealousy, all these things. I don't envy, for example, the Prime Minister. I don't envy the Chief Minister. I envy my own brother, my own sister, my own relatives, my own friends, or my own, if I am in a service, in some government service, I envy my own batchmates because they may go above me, they may get promotion, I may not get promotion. So all our envy, jealousy, all these things, they are among equals only. So let us see that. So Maitri, this is for somebody who is having sukham. Suppose your neighbor has got, or your brother has got, say a few crores lottery or something like that. Then Maitri, you just have a friendly attitude, not with the idea of taking some money from him, not with any such idea, just to avoid jealousy. That's all. Just to avoid envy. Suppose you have a good attitude, a positive attitude, a friendly attitude, then that negates jealousy, that negates envy. Maitri towards sukha. Then karuna towards dukkha. Suppose somebody is in misery. If we are able to help him, it is okay. But if we are not able to help him, at least some compassion. And with that compassion, maybe if not monetarily, we may do something physically. So that sort of help. Maitri, sukha, dukkha. So this is, we have to respectively, in English we use the word respectively. So this attitude, Maitri, Karuna, Mudita and Upeksha, respectively to be applied to to people in these situations. Respectively to be applied to people in these situations. Somebody is having some great happiness, okay, have a friendly attitude. Somebody is having some dukkha, some miserable state, compassion and try to help him. Then punya. Punya means somebody is a highly virtuous person. So if somebody is a virtuous person, usually there also there is a jealousy. You see, the jealousy, Bhartruhari defines that, there is a wonderful shloka, that a person tries to attribute all tat konama guno bhavet sa guninam yo durjanair nankitaha. There is some such line there. So whatever guna may be there in somebody, we always try to misinterpret it. Somebody suppose is a very, very austere, very, very pious man. Then we say, oh, he is a hypocrite, he is a dongi sadhu. So something like that. So now he says, no, don't do that. So if somebody is really virtuous, punyatma, somebody is a punyatma. So in that man's case, just mudita, happy, be happy, try to emulate him. Then apunya, somebody is a very vicious person or somebody who is unrighteous, he is doing all types of unrighteous things. Such persons. So Vishaya means, see, Vishaya is strictly speaking, Vishaya means object. Sukha Vishaya means somebody who is in a happiness, who is in a state of happiness. Dukkha Vishaya, that is somebody who is in a state of misery. Punya, Apunya Vishaya, people who are in these situations. Now you have to have this bhavana, Maitri, Karuna, Mudita, Upeksha. Apunya, unrighteous person, what is the expected? What is our attitude? Upeksha. Upeksha means just indifference. You need not bother about it. Vishayanam bhavanataha. If suppose we go to correct them, then again we are losing our peace of mind. Of course, this is a suggestion made to a seeker, not to a social activist. A social activist will not keep quiet. A social activist will go on meddling with other people's affairs. So otherwise he will not be an activist. So this is for a seeker. Sukha, dukkha, punya, apunya vishayanam bhavanataha. Bhavanataha is Panchami, Tasil. That is bhavanataha, by such bhavana. Chitta prasadanam, that purity of mind takes place. How? You are avoiding all the negative feelings. You are just avoiding negative feelings. And unnecessarily you are not meddling with somebody who is, you are not having envy with somebody who is righteous, and you are not unnecessarily meddling with somebody who is on the unrighteous path. You are just on your own, indifferent to such things, and you are pursuing your path. Chitta prasadanam, that is Chitta prasadanam is purity of mind. Then, yeah, Sukha, Dukkha, Punya, in the case of persons who are happy, so and so, by such frame of mind, Chitta prasadanam, achieving purity of mind. Sutra meaning is simple. Purity of mind happens when a person adopts attitude of friendliness, compassion, happiness, indifference, respectively, in the case of those who are happy, suffering, virtuous, or unrighteous. Then the commentary also is simple. Tatra sarva pranishu sukha sambhogapanneshu. Sukha sambhoga. Sambhoga is they are associated with that. They are enjoying. Sambhoga, enjoying. Samyak bhoga. Sam plus bhoga. Samyak bhoga. That is happily enjoying. He is enjoying happiness. That's sukham. Sarva pranishu sukha bhoga panneshu maitrim bhavayet. One has to have that maitri, friendliness. This is basically to remove jealousy. Of course, this is a commentator also notes. This is to remove jealousy. And dukkikeshu karunam, somebody who is having dukkha. For him, karuna, compassion. This again removes ill will to others. When you are trying to show compassion, deliberately practicing compassion, that is what all the ethics, they say. You are supposed to show compassion. By showing compassion and trying to help, that removes our ill will. If somebody is miserable and if we are feeling happy, then that is a case of sadism. Sadism, of course, we are inflicting pain. If we inflict pain and take happiness, it is sadism. And if somebody is miserable and if we are still feeling happy, then that is again is not a right idea, right attitude. So now, if somebody is miserable, you are trying to help, then that shows that basically you will never have ill will to them. Then punyatmakeshu muditam. Punyatmakeshu muditam. Muditam is happiness. Here also a question of jealousy. Above earlier there is one type of jealousy. Here another type of jealousy. Punyatmakeshu muditam. Muditam is happiness. Then apunya shileshu upeksham. Apunya shileshu, towards those who are unrighteous. So what is it? We have to cultivate upeksha. Upeksha means just ignore. A simple word is ignore. You just ignore them. Then this is basically to eliminate anger, which is an obstacle. So in fact, if we see Ramayana, Vishwamitra does tapas. Vishwamitra and Vasishtha, there is a big, is a sort of fight. It is basically not a physical fight in the sense that it has to be taken symbolically. And Vishwamitra starts with a tamasa tapas and goes on towards tamasa. He goes from that he goes to rajasa. From that he goes to sattvika tapas, and only then he is called a brahmashri. So initially he is disturbed by all these things. Somebody called Shunashepa. Shunashepa comes and then says, "Okay, sir, I am from your clan. I also belong to the Ikshvaku clan, and you are also an Ikshvaku clan. I want to go to heaven with my physical body." So, and all other Vasishtha and all these people, they are rejected. Oh, if Vasishtha has rejected, then I will see that you go to heaven. So then he does that tapas. So that is that sort of thing. So where he is showing he is unnecessarily interfering there. And another fellow called Sunashepa. That Sunashepa also, this king is not Sunashepa, the king is Trishanku. Trishanku wants to go to heaven with the body. Sunashepa is another person who was given up by his father, by his parents. So that boy had to be rescued. There again he gets involved. So that is what happens. And then again, Rambha, of course, all those things we know. So here one has to cultivate indifference to those who are unrighteous. This eliminates anger, which is an obstacle. Then evamasya bhavayataha, anger. Vishwamitra becomes very, very angry when Rambha comes. Again, oh, this fellow Indra has sent her. So he loses temper and then curses that Rambha. So then evam asya bhavayataha shuklo dharmaha upajayate. For the person, asya bhavayataha means for the person who has that attitude, asya bhavayataha shuklo dharmaha. Shukla, actually, what is Shukla? Shukla means white. White means pure. Or commentators also say that is sattva guna. White and white is purity. Shuklo dharmaha, that is a pure character. We can say that if you want an ordinary translation, pure character. Shuklo dharmaha upajayate. Or sattva guna. Commentators also say that it is sattva guna. And hence sattvic actions. All our actions, they become pure. And disturbances due to rajas and tamas, rajoguna and tamoguna, they get eliminated. Then, tatascha chittam prasidati. Chittam prasidati means it becomes pure. Prasidati. Chittam prasidati. Prasannam ekagram sthiti padam labhate. Prasannam ekagram sthiti padam labhate. Prasannam, having become prasanna, having become pure, then it attains one-pointed steadiness. Having become pure, ekagram sthitipadam. In fact, this word ekagram can be connected to sthitipadam or it can be connected to prasannam. Prasannam and ekagram, it can be, both can be adjectives for mind. Manaha prasannam bhavati, ekagram bhavati. Or otherwise, prasannam chittam athava manaha ekagram sthitipadam labhate. One-pointed say focus, one-pointed steadiness, sthiti steadiness. So that you can interpret in both ways. Then we come to the next, there is also the commentator also gives one shloka, a couple of shlokas from Gita. That is, if you go to second adhyaya, there are a couple of shlokas. Ragadvesha viyuktaistu vishaya indriyaischaram atmavashyair vidheyatma prasadam adhigacchati. In that Gita also we use this word prasada. Prasada in exactly in the same manner. Prasanna chetaso hyashu buddhi paryavatishthate. We have seen it in Gita Bhashyam. Prasada and prasanna. Prasada is that quality. Prasanna is the mind which is having that quality. Prasannam chittam. Prasannam manaha. That is the mind which is having that prasada. Buddhi is called prasannam. Ragadvesha viyuktaistu vishayan indriyaischaram. You may be enjoying sense objects. Vishayan Ragadvesha viyuktaihi indriyaihi charam. Kidrushaihi indriyaihi. What type of indriyas? Ragadvesha viyuktaihi indriyaihi. Vishayan charam. Then, what is that? Atmavashyahi. One more adjective for indriyaihi is atmavashyahi. Atmavashyahi indriyaihi vishayan charam. So that person prasadam adhigacchati. So even when you are wealthy, even when you are a rich man, you have that say control on the indriyas, control on senses, so that you are enjoying whatever you are enjoying with some amount of control over your own senses, not that you are driven by objects. Your mind is controlling them. So that is what prasanna, prasada chittam, and prasada state of mind, and also prasanna chittam. The next sutra also, one more alternative he is giving. That is pranayama. Of course, on this we are going to see later also. What is the pranayama, yamana yamasana pranayama? We are going to see there also. But here also he is suggesting that pranayama can also be one method to to achieve steadiness of mind. Basically, now all this exercise, all these sutras are relating to steadiness of mind. So prachardhana vidaranabhyam va pranasya. Prachardhanam va means or alternatively, because he has been telling so many things. Ishvara pranidhanad va, there also he said va. Earlier he only talked about samprajnata and asamprajnata. Then again, if you are not able to attain it, you come to all these smaller techniques. So Ishvara pranidhana, he said. Then again he said something else. Maitri karuna mudita, attitude, changing your attitude. Then again pranayama. So that attitudinal change. Nowadays we use that word. So that attitudinal change. Then again prachardhana vidaranabhyam va pranasya. This prachardhanam, what is this? Prachardhanam is exhalation, and not normal exhalation, but by some force. So forcibly, maybe like whatever Ramdev Baba shows, some forcibly you are trying to exhale. Forcibly you are trying to exhale and send out the air from within. Prachardhana. Vidharana. Visheshena dharana. That is, you are retaining, again inhaling and then keeping it in kumbhaka. Kumbhaka means keeping it inside. That is uraka kumbhaka rechaka. So this is a very, very great discovery by the ancients. In fact, we have to note that this is one important discovery, which we forget. You see, that is, any conscious habit is influencing the unconscious mind. Consciously, you are practicing something, and it changes it impacts the unconscious mind. Here, we are consciously trying to focus our attention on the breath, the movement of breath. This is how and while breathing in, you are watching it. Just mere watching is one technique. And again, along with the breath, you are also synchronizing one mantra. And again, you are also trying to contemplate on the meaning. So these are different levels. Maybe somebody may be just concentrating on the breath. Somebody may be concentrating on the word and meaning also. Omkara, it may be Omkara or Gayatri mantra. So like that. So prachardhana vidharanabhyam. Vidharana is retention. Pranasya. Pranasya is pranavayoho. Then the mind can be controlled by exhalation or retention of breath. Then kaushthyasya vayoho nasikaputabhyam prayatna visheshad vamanam prachardhanam. The line has not stopped here. That is why the prachardhanam, that anuswara is also there. Purna anuswara. Kaushthyasya. Koshtam. Koshtam is Koshtam actually means belly, the stomach. Of course, we breathe air not into the stomach, but into the lungs. So here we have to take the entire portion, because we also take air sometimes into the stomach also. When we casually breathe, it goes into not only lungs, it also goes into the stomach. So kaushthyasya, whatever vayu is there, whatever air is there in the lungs and also in the body. Koshtha is the body. We know the word prakoshtam. Prakoshta is the room. Prakoshta also means this portion is prakoshta. Rikta prakoshta, kanakavalaya brahmcha rikta prakoshta, says Kalidasa in Mega Sandesha, with the first few lines only. So Koshtha is Kaushthyam is belonging to Koshtha is Kaushthyam. That is something from within. Kaushthyasya vayoho, that is the vayu which is there in the stomach. Nasika putabhyam prayatna visheshad vamanam. Nasika putabhyam, from these nostrils. Prayatna visheshat, by effort, by making a normally we breathe without any effort. Then here we are making an effort to breathe out. Something like that. Like what we call what pranayama? Bhastrika pranayama. Bhastrika we say. Then prayatna visheshat vamana. Or it can even be normal pranayama also. Bhastrika is that forcible ejection. But here you are controlling prayatna vishesha by making a special effort. What is that special effort? Suppose you are doing what is this pranayama of Gayatri mantra. Suppose the full Gayatri mantra, suppose we say Om Bhu Om Bhuva, right up to that Shiro mantra also. Shiro mantra Om Apo Jyoti Somratam Brahma Bhutbhu Swaram, that entire Shiro mantra also we say. And then we close the right nostril with the thumb. These two fingers you hold, and you do it like this, and then you keep this open, and then suppose you breathe in. Normally, we don't make this effort. So this prayatna vishesha is by making this effort. While chanting this entire full Gayatri mantra, I am slowly making that effort. Then again, I am retaining. Again, keeping that whole air inside. Then again, prayatna visheshena. Again, udva, vamanam. Vamanam is, vamana actually means vomiting out. Vamanam. Vomiting here, what is it? We are vomiting air. That is sending out air. Prayatna visheshad vamanam. It need not be bhastrika pranayama. It can be normal pranayama also. That is puraka, kumbhaka, rechaka. Prayatna visheshad vamanam prachartanam. Then vidharanam pranayamaha tabhyam vidharanam pranayamaha. Then vidharanam is retention of breath. Pranayamaha tabhyam va, either by them, either in this manner or even by this manner, manasaha sthitim sampadayet. One has to sampadayet. One has to attain manasaha sthiti. Sthiti means that steadiness of mind. That is, the yogic terms are rechaka, kumbhaka, pranayama. Puraka, kumbhaka, rechaka. Purakam is filling, kumbhaka is retaining, rechaka is sending out, exhalation. Then we come to the next sutra. Vishayavati va pravrutti rutpanna manasah sthiti nibandhani. Vishayavati va pravrutti rutpanna manasah sthiti nibandhani bhavati. Bhavati, just pratyahara to, sorry, not pratyahara, adhyahara to complete the line. Vishayavati pravrutti. Pravrutti is feminine, feminine gender. So Vishayavati, Vishayavati pravrutti. Pravrutti means, here it is used in the sense of an experience. Prakarshena vartana. Prakarshena vartana. Suppose I am, say, getting some smell. I am not insensitive to smell, I am extremely sensitive to smell, suppose. Extremely sensitive to smell, and I suppose I focus my mind on the nasikagra. He is going to say that. Suppose I focus my mind in a particular way, that I am able to smell so many things, and I am able to smell all divine, some smell, so all that experience. Then again, suppose I focus on the tip of my tongue. So if I focus on the tip of my tongue, I get another sensation. He is going to tell all that. So this is what is called yogi pratyaksham. There is a word called yogi pratyaksham. Unless you practice, you will not get it. So if you simply say, no, how can you get it? You will not get it. So this yogi pratyaksham is, we have to believe in that. If we believe in that, we will get. So some commentators have said, yes, I have attained. For example, one commentator says, yes, I underwent all these things. So let us see this. Vishayavati va pravrittihi. Pravrittihi, Vishayavati pravrittihi. What is this Vishayavati pravritti? That is a vision of an intense sense experience. All five senses are there. So any sense, intense sense experience of objects. Manasaha sthiti nibandhani. So they help in inducing more shraddha in the mind of the person. Suppose you are trying to achieve a thing. When you are trying to achieve a thing, suppose some little bit of achievement is there. Suppose there is no achievement at all. If there is no achievement at all right from the beginning, you feel dejected. Suppose there is some achievement. Again, you try again, there is some more achievement. So progressively you are achieving. As you go ahead, you are achieving something. When you see some result, when you see that there is some result, then your shraddha also will increase, your belief or shraddha will increase, and all your doubts, they will get negated. Suppose I say, if you read Bhagavad Gita, you will attain so and so chitta prasadanam, or you will get rid of all your, what can I say, superstitions. Suppose I say, suppose you read Bhagavad Gita, you get rid of all your superstitions. You will not have any unnecessary fears about so many things. So human being has so many fears. On Saturday, can I do this? In the evening, suppose somebody asks me, can we read Bhagavad Gita in the evening? You can read any time. So such questions will not arise if you really read Bhagavad Gita, if you really understand, if you see the commentary along with the commentary. So unless you read, you will not experience it. suppose as you go through, you will slowly and slowly and slowly, our mind also gets detached. Our mind also gets more control on the self. That is what we do experience. Then, so it is also like that. Vishayavati pravrittihi utpanna sati manasaha sthiti nibandhani bhavati. Sthiti nibandhani, that is binding. Nibandhanam. Bandhanam is what is binding. Nibandhani, that which binds. Sthiti nibandhani, that is, it becomes a cause. Nibandhani is used in the sense of a cause to bind it. That which helps in binding. So it becomes a cause to bind the mind in stability. Sthiti nibandhani. Sthiti is stability. Manasaha sthiti nibandhani bhavati. Vishayavati va pravrittihi utpanna. Utpanna means having arisen. Utpanna sati. We have to use that word also as adhyahara. Vishayavati pravrittihi utpanna sati manasaha sthiti nibandhani bhavati. Then the translation is the vision of an intense experience, sense experience of an object having arisen becomes a cause to bind the mind in stability of samadhi. I suppose the sutra is clear. Is the sutra clear, please? Yeah. The next line. Nasikagre dharayatah asya ya divya gandha samvit sa gandha pravrittihi. Vishayavati pravrittihi, he said. So Vishayas are Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, isn't it? Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. So first he is talking about Gandha Pravritti. So intense experience of smell. Where, how do you get it? Nasikagre dharayatah. So when the dharayatah means one who is doing dharana. Dharana is concentration. Dharana, if you are doing dharana on this nasikagra, tip of the tongue. Of course, some people they do like this. It actually pains the eyes. Many people, they forcibly bring the eyes to the center and then try to concentrate. It may not be the correct way, I don't know. Yeah, but anyway, I do it in a totally different way. Nasikagra, I don't do it on this agra, I do on this agra, and then I close the eyes and then I try to focus my, of course, when I close the eyelids also, I can still focus on this particular point. Even after closing eyelids, we can focus on this particular point instead of nose here. Some people, they open their eyes and then try to focus like this. It looks peculiar, and then after some time the eyes keep burning and they strain on that. So better to do it in a natural way. I close my eyes and then focus here. So nasikagre dharayatah asya. Yeah, you better let the teacher tell you, let the real yoga master tell you where to do that. Nasikagre dharayatah asya ya divya gandha samvit. This is again a strange divya gandha. Divya, some divine smell. You see, not only ordinary smell and not only some distant smell, divya gandha, something which is a divine in nature. So that sort of experience, you are able to get whatever smell you want. So that is something which is gandha samvit. That is a sort of extrasensory cognition, some extrasensory perception. Some extrasensory knowledge you are having. Nasikagre dharayatah. Dharayatah means dharanam purvanasya. Dharanam purvanasya. That is somebody who is doing dharana on this nasika only. Ya divya gandha samvit bhavati. That is whatever gandha samvit bhavati. That is gandha pravrittihi. Samvit is jnana. The focusing the mind. Then jihvagre rasa samvit. Oh, I think the time is over. 4 or 5 minutes only. Shall we stop here? If there are any questions. Okay, this line I will read. Jihvagre rasa samvit. Jihvagre. Jihva is the tongue. Agra, the tip of the tongue. If I am concentrating on the focusing to doing dharana, Jihvagre dharayatah. Dharayatah has to continue to all these things. Dharayatah means person who is doing dharana. Jihvagre rasa samvit bhavati. That is, I get extraordinary sense, awareness of this rasa, taste. Some divine taste, I am able to feel it. Then taluni rupa samvita. Talu is what is called palate. This above teeth, there is what is called palate, isn't it? Above teeth, this is a palate. Palatals we say. Ta ta da da ta ta da da palatals. Ta also. Ta ta da da palatals. Ta, that is talu. Rupa Samved. Then Jihva Madhye Sparsha Samved. Jihva Madhye, the center of the tongue. Center of the tongue I am concentrating. That is Sparsha Samved. Sparsha Jnana, that extraordinary sense of Sparsha, that extrasensory knowledge of Sparsha. Sparsha means sense of touch. Then again, Jihva Mule Shabda Samved. Jihva Mule, at the root of the tongue. The root of the tongue, somewhere go back and back. Shabda Samved. I am able to have that intense experience of Shabda. So this is something one has to experience. One has to experience. Without experiencing, we can't say. It is somewhat like, and why Patanjali is saying this is, of course, in the Bhashyam he is going to say, when you are trying to practice something, unless you achieve something, you will not be encouraged. You see, it is like joining a scheme. Suppose you join some money scheme. In that money scheme, you pay 10,000 rupees and get some 10% interest. Next time you pay 20,000 and you get 10% interest. Next time you pay 1 lakh rupees and you get 10% interest. And next time you pay 10 lakhs and the fellow may run away. So the person will, but here the Shastra does not run away. The point, only difference is the Shastra does not run away. So these are all small experiences which you get in order to convince you that whatever greatest promise is made, that is going to happen. This is basically to convince you and to improve your Shraddha. The next few lines he is going to say. We will see and read that tomorrow. We'll see any questions.
Thank you, sir. One question, I'll just
No questions?
Yes, sir. Sumit ji is asking, sir, please recommend any book on different kind of Nyaya, like Gomaya, Payasa, and logical fallacies. Please recommend any book on different kind of Nyaya.
Oh, that way. Book. Yeah. In all dictionaries, usually at the end, in fact, I have got that Apte's dictionary, that big version, big dictionary. In that dictionary, at the end of that dictionary, many of the Nyayas are given. At least about 100 Nyayas are given. There are books like Samskrita Nyayamala, books like Samskrita exclusively, some people have written Samskrita Nyayamala, and they have also given fairly good explanation. Then dictionary is one thing, Samskrita Nyayamala is one. Of course, they should be available on the net also. Samskrita Nyayamala, I do recommend. It will be interesting.
Yeah. Pooja ji is saying a very nice session, sir. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Okay.
That's all, sir.
Thank you. We'll meet again.
Namaskar.
Okay, namaste.